We had a chance to see another good lineup in race 4 because Len Foreman, of course, passenger this afternoon by Eddie Elvis. No Gary Wright, I've been informed from the pits. His place is taken by Rob Wilson Jr. and Mark Langmaid. But as we look across that far side, it looks as if the flying Cornishman, Phil Pittman, has got to the front as they go into that first bend. I'll be looking anxiously for Dave Steer, but it looks as if Dave has missed the start. He's at the back of the field, but as we watch them come round past me for the first time, it is Phil Pittman that's got away. While our reserve rider Rob Wilson and Mark Langmaid are up in second place. Adrian Davis in third place at the moment. As I say that, it looks as if Dave Steer's gone round the outside of them. So Dave Steer and Andy Orchard go round the outside. They're now going after Rob Wilson Jr. as they go into that top end. Forced to go wide, and all these outfits proving to me already that the wide lines can be ridden on this circuit because Dave Steer has got through into second place. Oh, Len Foreman disappointingly at the back of the field at the moment. He's got some work to do. He's got some very quick outfits in front of him. But getting away from the rest of the field and making sure that he's going to be there tomorrow, we look to see Phil Pittman and passenger this afternoon, of course, by Justin Westaway, leading as they go into the last lap of race 4. Problems for Dave Steer, getting it knotted up as he comes out of that top bend, but he's got away with that as he still holds on to that second place. Rob Wilson still there in third spot, Adrian Davis holding fourth, but that's a big, big margin that Phil Pittman has opened up between him and Dave Steer. As they come round off that top end, it's going to be a very good win to start his qualifying campaign for Phil Pittman and Justin Westaway. Dave Steer takes second place, Rob Wilson takes third, Adrian Davis just hangs on to that fourth place as Len Foreman gets close to him and finishes in fifth. On the start line for race 7, Craig Cheetham already on the far side. Royce Redbury on that far outside with him. Dave Steer right on the centre of the grid. Joe Mogg and Len Foreman on the inside of him. As we get underway for race 7, Royce Redbury has made a good one. Craig Cheetham has made a good one as well from that outside of the gate as they go into that first bend. It is indeed Royce Redbury that's got away. Craig Cheetham up in second as it looks as if we've lost Joe Mogg on that first straight. So we're back with 4 outfits coming off the top of the hill as Royce Redbury goes past me, leading from Craig Cheetham. Dave Steer driving through into third place, keeping just a wheel in front of Len Foreman. But as we look to that far side, Royce Redbury in very determined form, obviously anxious to try and get into the big international Ace of Aces tomorrow. Craig Cheetham equally as anxious to get through, fighting hard in second place, but Dave Steer is now starting to turn the power on as he gets closer to Craig Cheetham as they go into that pit bend for the second time. Down the back straight, and the gaps have started to open up with that lead, but Dave Steer fights through into second place. Oh, look at the way Dave Steer has closed up on that leader, Royce Redbury. Back in third place a moment ago, but now he's pushing for the lead as they come down off the top of the hill into the last lap. Steve Kensington looks over his shoulder. He's now conscious that Dave Steer is close to him. As we look to that far side, that's where Royce Redbury looks quick, but look at Dave Steer come through the bottom of that dip on the far side, closing right up as they go into that last bend. Well, I'm interested to see whether he will hold on to that second place. Is he going to make a bid for the lead? It's going to be a win for Royce Redbury. Dave Steer takes second, Craig Cheetham takes third, and Len Foreman takes fourth place. We're looking for 4 more outfits to go through into that official lineup to start the day tomorrow. And would you be able to pick the 4 out of this 6 that are going to the line? Remind you, of course, it is Roy and Steve Kensington, Royce Redbury, of course, and Steve Kensington. It is Tim Bennett and Colin Blackburn. We've got Terry Phillips and Chris Spires going to the line. Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. Phil Pittman and Justin Westaway, and joining them, doing a lot of work this afternoon, Adrian Davis and Vince Davis. Oh, they've indeed got themselves to the line on that far side. Adrian Davis electing a far outside line. Tim Bennett right on this inside as we look to the far side. Oh, it does look to be as if Terry Phillips has once again made a very good start as he goes into that top corner, leading from Phil Pittman and Justin Westaway at the moment as they come round off that top bend. Terry Phillips has gone extremely wide, but he looks as if he's got away with it as he comes down past us, leading from Phil Pittman in second. Royce Bedbury and Steve Kensington are up in third place, but they're under pressure from Dave Steer, who's looking to go around the outside. We've seen him do that earlier on this afternoon, but they look very, very quick up front. As Terry Phillips and Chris Spires have opened up quite a gap on Phil Pittman and Justin Westaway. Royce Bedbury going for the outside line. Dave Steer changing lines as he's seen Royce Bedbury go wide, so he cuts through on the inside. Adrian Davis and Tim Bennett losing touch with those front four at the moment. Remember, it is four that qualify and go into the official lineup as we look to the far side. Terry Phillips in determined form to make sure that he's in that lineup. We see Dave Steer now moving through into third place as really the front four have got themselves away from Tim Bennett and Adrian Davis. The last lap flag goes for Terry Phillips. Chris Spires looks over his shoulder. Dave Steer again tries to fight through for that third place. But as we watch to see them go round for this last lap, Royce Bedbury again goes wide and Dave Steer moves through on the inside of him. But Terry Phillips and Chris Spires will be pleased going through in top place as they join the lineup for the official 1993 Ace of Aces. They take the checkered flag, they've done it the hard way. Phil Pittman goes through, Dave Steer in third, and Royce Bedbury in fourth place. Those are the qualifiers. Our reserves for tomorrow are Adrian Davis and Tim Bennett. And we look to race 27. Once again, our sponsors, Penton Cars, sponsor this one. And as we look at my unofficial points, we've got Roger Measor only dropping 1 point so far on 17. John Halsey goes in this one on 14, so a very good opportunity for John Halsey to make sure of a place in the final. Dave Steer also has had a good afternoon. He's on 14 points as well. And as you can quickly see, we had a lot of riders sitting on those 12, 13 and 14 points. So this last ride, very, very important indeed. Well, away we go with race 27. And we look to that far side. It's Dave Steer that's made an excellent start once again. He really has got his machinery out of that start line. And Roger Measor gets very close to him. As they go into that first bend, you see John Halsey has gone wide. He's missing all the problems on the inside of him, and he goes a long, long way round as three outfits together go into that pit bend. Roger Measor on the inside, Dave Steer has got the line, and John Halsey is forced to go wide once again. Up that back straight we go, and this is where Roger looks at a little bit quicker than Dave Steer, but John Halsey's got him on, and he goes wide again. Dave Steer is exceptionally good at holding a tight line. You know that from the experience of the racing we've seen from him earlier in the season. Roger, I think, has realised that, and he's now looking to go for an outside line. That in turn has forced John Halsey to go even wider than he really wanted to. He's lost out on that pit bend by going that extra distance. As we watch them go into the top bend once more, Roger again gets close to Dave Steer. Dave Steer's doing well to hang on to this. He's under a lot of pressure from Roger Measor. He's forcing him to make the decisions. He's forcing him to go wide. Dave Steer brilliantly hanging on to that racing line. He's driving hard coming out of the bends, making it difficult for Roger to catch him down the straights. This really is good experience riding from Dave Steer. He's forced Roger Measor again to go for that wide line. Roger will be looking to cut back in, coming off that top corner. He goes to the inside line. Is this a brilliant corner for Roger Measor? Dave Steer thinks that he's hung on to it, and the Orchard, you can see, believes he hung on to it. We'll wait to see what our lap scorers say, but what a great ride from Roger Measor. He almost done it, or did he? We'll wait to see what the lap scorers make of that one. Well, race 27, and it couldn't have been closer on the line. The eventual decision was a win for outfit number 18, Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. In second place, outfit number 5, so closely second, Roger Measor and Shane Lapham. In third place, outfit number 2, John Halsey and Tony Miles. Fourth place, number 11, Neville Penfold and Paul Randall. Fifth place, number 15, Mick Cave and Mick Stace. And sixth place, outfit number 8, Pete Dyer and Tony Bemister. The winning time, 128.40. Because I think we are in for a fantastic sidecar race. The lineup couldn't be better, and I wonder who you might have tipped to take the 1993 Ace of Aces sidecar competition. We're underway with a nice clean start. Steve Smith has made an excellent start. I can see Dave Steer coming through on the inside. Roger Measor has gone after Steve Smith, and that's how they go into that first corner. Steve Smith and Keith Wall leading. Ken Lane has come through very well on the inside. He's got himself in front of Roger Measor as they come down past me. But Steve Smith and Keith Wall have looked on song this afternoon, and they've got away from the rest of the field. They really are going to take some catching. There's a ding-dong battle going on for second place between Roger Measor and Ken Lane. They've been together in battles many, many times before, and indeed you can see Roger trying to shut all the doors if possible to stop Ken coming through. A good ride this from Dave Steer. He's finding his way through as well. Last year's winner, Russelling, is out of it at the moment, back in 4th place, well, 5th place I should say. But really, let's not take it away from Steve Smith and Keith Wall. They've rode brilliantly this afternoon. Look at the lead they've got over Roger Measor and Shane Lapham. I wonder how many of us would have predicted this at the start of the day. As indeed, I can see that Ken Lane is still working hard for that 3rd place. As we go round that pit bend for the last time, Steve Smith and Keith Ward do not look like being caught, as Roger Measor is desperately trying to close the gap. I think it is going to be Dave Steer and passenger Andy Orchard have got the biggest fight on as they go into that last bend. Fireworks go off, and I wasn't expecting that. A win for Steve Smith and Keith Ward. Roger Measor gets 2nd place. Well, a brilliant ride from Dave Steer to come through from the qualifiers yesterday and finish in 3rd spot, so we get a chance to find out how bad that injury was to Andy Orchard. But our congratulations, and as they come round, don't be shy, show your excitement, show your appreciation to a very valid victor, unbeaten all day long. That's the way to win an event like this. A British command on the event in the early races, and what a brilliant final they have ridden. They've made it from the gate. No way was Roger Measor or Ken Lane going to catch them. They've made this final theirs, and they get once again the name of Steve Smith back on the Ace of Aces title. We start, of course, with in 3rd place in the Sidecar competition for 1993. It was Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. Well, indeed, thank you for showing your applause. And Andy being helped up the steps there as well. Well, there was an interesting little comment there from Andy. He just said to me it was his age. But how can he talk about age when the people that beat him have come... Somebody actually came up to me a moment ago and said, do you realise the people that won in this competition, 1st and 2nd, racing against each other, some of the crowd have been watching these guys race for over 20 years. I'm going to quickly move up on to 3rd spot here because I want to try and get a few words with some of these people. This is where Dave goes very, very shy on me. I want to have a few words with him, but first of all, I'm going to have a word with Andy because you were limping quite badly when you come up here. How bad was it?
Not very bad now. It's all right now.
Very, very pleased with his performance.
Yeah, sure.
And Dave, I've got to ask you, well, it was hard work yesterday. You've done a lot more work than most of these guys, but did you think it was going to be 3rd place for you?
No, I didn't. Not the way we was going yesterday, but today we was going a lot better.
Well, I would agree with that. You did go a lot better. Was there any work done overnight?
Quite a bit of work, quite late last night.
Well, obviously all proved to be worth it. I'm going to move quickly along.
Just got to say thank you very much for our fitter today, which is Ian, who was my passenger, as you know. Thank you, Ian.
Well, indeed, he was your passenger, and every crew I know makes a tribute to all their pit crews. And show your appreciation to all 3 of them. We've got Dave Steer and Andy Orchard in 3rd. We've got Roger Measor and Shane Lapham in 2nd. But our winners, Steve Smith and Keith Wall.
And on gate 6, outfit number 4, Dave Penfold with Paul Randall in the chair with the Except-powered Yamaha Wasp, and the Except engine proving to be the most prolific in sidecars these days. Anyway, I was amazed at the number there were around the circuit it seems to be the engine to have. And well, we have a sidecar flipping. That is an unusual sight at the start of this race, but losing traction completely. The front came straight up in the air. Another one seems to have been interfered with. And in fact there's another one ploughing off under the infield at a great rate of knots. So plenty of drama there in the early stages of this race. To have the rerun of race 8, I suspect that is what's happening. We have indeed got a whole pack of sidecars howling around the circuit now. The rerun of race 8, page 11 of your programmes. Hogging that inside line at the moment. Can they stay there? The bumps, the track's starting to cut up a little bit, but they blast away, accelerating down that back straight. Number 4, Dave Penfield. With 17, Dave Steer, the constructor of those superb Steer Yamahas, and the Orchard in the chair. 68, Chris Tyrrell and Alan Belays, and number 26, Reg Blackburn, the additional standby reserve who has come into the race. Reg and Colin Blackburn, father and son. Father and son, 46 and 25 respectively. And Ian actually made his debut in GRASSTRACK racing up here in the north of England at Yarm. But here we go, we have a tremendous sight of those outfits striding it out. There's only inches between them at the top of the circuit, and in the lead is Dave Steer. Back in 1973, he'd dearly have to be able to do it again today. And by the way he's going at the moment, he looks as though he's got a more than even chance. He's really hanging in there. And in fact putting all the pressure on the race leader. And Reg Blackburn trying absolutely everything else. Reg Blackburn is still keeping that power on. The name of the game is keeping the thing pointing in the right direction. In third place, Gary Wright with his stand-in passenger Chris Burge. Those three detached from the rest of the field. In fact, the rest of the field looking down. And it is a retirement for number 1, Greg Cheatham. Are we going to see a late rush from Reg Blackburn? Reg is giving it back to Ellie with the old right wrist. And anything can happen in these few closing yards of the race. 17 Dave Steer it is. That's one of the closest finishes of the day, where the group was rimmed for 17.
race 11 then. Number 13, John Halsey and Jason Glennie go into the lead. In second place we have number 17, Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. And in third place, number 112, Rick Colvin and Steve Smith. Loading up today, all three outfits continue their way round. John Halsey and Jason Glennie with a good lead on at the moment. Sliding wide then, John Halsey, Jason Glennie doing a bit of a Jerry Adams trick, but he's holding on to the lead from Dave Steer and Andy Orchard in second place. Then Rick Colvin and Steve Smith, looking like they've got a few problems. Round on the inside line. Another one of those there Honda Fireblade engines. Well, drifting very wide again, but still holding on to the advantage. Well, has he, as Dave Steer comes up on the inside. Dave Steer just took the advantage from him as he come through there, but John Halsey has gone for a very tight line. Regaining that advantage, but number 17, Dave Steer, pushing hard on the inside as they come into the last turn for the last time. What's going to happen here? Again, John Halsey's gone for that wide line. Dave Steer's nipped up on the inside. What's going to happen as they come up to the line? 17, Dave Steer and Andy Orchard take it from John Halsey and Jason Glennie in second place. With Rick Colvin and Steve Smith limping home for third. Dynamic duo as they enter the turn in last place. Dave Penfold, Pluto's dropped off, Penny's going round on her own. Oh no, didn't realise yet. Give her a wave, Pluto, wouldn't you? 17, Dave Steer and Andy Orchard taking up the lead. Sorry, I have my eyes on me wide. Dave Penfold and Paul Randall pushing hard in second place. Penny Hook waiting for Keith Pluto Watts to jump on board. And Pluto's on there and away they go. Not going to waste no time. Obviously Fab One's gone into retirement for the afternoon as she's borrowed somebody else's machine. Dave Steer and Andy Orchard continue with the lead for Dave Penfold and Paul Randall from Rick Colvin and Steve Smith. Well, Penny Hook's not in the lead, that's a shame. I thought she was going to be the first one over the line, but a little bit out there. Dave Steer and Andy Orchard takes the win. 14, Dave Penfold, Paul Randall takes second place. Then 112, Rick Colvin and Steve Smith. Right-hand sidecar again then, in race number 39, a bit over Paul Hales this time. We're looking for Paul Roberts and Nicky Owen. Mick Cave and Nick Stage, previous races this year this afternoon, as are Tim Pettit and Hargreaves, and then Dave Steer. This afternoon with Rick Colvin and Steve Smith. So let's see how they come around this turn then as Mick Cave and Mick Stace ease up a little bit too much in the turn, and Jerry Adams and Paul Baseby come flying through. So it's Jerry Adams, Paul Baseby from Mick Cave, Mick Stace. 17 then is Dave Steer, Andy Orchard, then Tim Bennett, Steve Hargreaves, then Rick Colvin, Robert, Nicky Owen. Those last two getting the brunt of the dust. Jerry Adams goes a little bit wide round that turn this time, and both Mick Cave and Mick Stace and Steer Andy Orchard are very tight on the inside. Those three getting very close together now as the race continues. Both Steer making the move from Mick Cave, going up to the second place behind Jerry Adams and Paul Baseby. Paul Baseby having a little look behind, make sure where the opposition is, but they're right there close behind, and look at that battle for second place. Jerry Adams goes very wide with Paul Baseby. Dave Steer's got on the inside this time, taking the advantage. It's Dave Steer and Andy Orchard from Jerry Adams, Paul Baseby, Mick Cave, Mick Stace, Tim Bennett, Steve Hargreaves, Rick Colvin, Steve Smith. And Ron Roberts, Nicky Owen bringing up the rear. Last turn for the last time. Jerry Adams wants his first place back, but again he's gone sailing wide. I think he's actually given it to Dave Steer and Andy Orchard on the line from Jerry Adams and Paul Baseby, Mick Cave, Mick Stace, Tim Bennett, Steve Hargreaves, Rick Colvin, Steve Smith, Ron Roberts and Nicky Owen. Lead. John Halsey, Jason Glennie go very wide. Look at those boys coming up on the inside. Watch Dave Steer from that inside berth as he comes right up alongside and takes the advantage. Dave Steer goes into the lead. Dave Steer and Andy Orchard from John Halsey, Jason Glennie. John pushing hard in second place. Then it's Rob Wilson and Tony Miles. From Tim Bennett and Steve Hargreaves, then Jerry Adams and Paul Baseby, Mick Cave and Mick Stace bringing up the rear. Dave Steer and Andy Orchard leading from John Halsey and Jason Glennie in that second place. Away from the rest of the field now and leaves them behind. The others being made to eat dirt. Dave Steer and Andy Orchard taking their last lap flag from John Halsey, Jason Glennie, Rob Wilson and Tony Miles, Tim Bennett and Steve Hargreaves, Mick Cave and Mick Stace, Jerry Adams and Paul Baseby. The blind see at the back. Well, this is the last turn for the last time already, and Dave Steer and Andy Orchard seem to have it all made. So cross the line for the win. In second place, John Halsey, Jason Glennie. Then Rob Wilson, Tony Miles. In fourth place, Tim Bennett, Steve Hargreaves. Then Mick Cave, Mick Stace. Then Jerry Adams and Paul Baseby. Official result with you in a moment.
He locked up, Steer had to be in the wrong way, didn't he? He had to be right behind him. Right behind him. If he had to be on one side, he could go around him. He had to shut down. 6 laps. Well,
hey, I've got Gary Jackson, winner of the... Thank you, everyone. Across to the far side and pick up the field as they storm into the first bend. Look at Ivan Matthews. Poor start by his very, very high standards, but already he's powering his way through. It looks like the rights out in front. The rights are leading. So, Gary Wright and Steve Wright in the chair, or is it? Because we're never quite sure. Sometimes swap around, sometimes we have different passengers. Well, Gary Wright it is down in the programme as strivings, and he's still holding on to that advantage. David Steer keeping the pressure on him, Ivan Matthews in third, Terry Phillips in fourth. So it's Dave Steer then as we look across to the far side. Going after the leader when they add Emma back straight. Outfit number 12, Gary Wright and Steve Wright seem to have a big advantage, but they seem to find a little bit of a hole there and lost a bit of ground, and Dave Steer closed right up on him, but not quite enough. Ivan Matthews still in third, Terry Phillips still in fourth. Back a little way to Lennon Ray Foreman in fifth spot. We look across the far side and Dave Steer has closed up on the leader. A little bit of a moment till the
bend to our right, and they steer now, stalking the leader all the way as he comes into this bend. There's that little spot where he had the problems. They steer tries to go down the inside. He's not going to get there. It's Gary Wright who crosses the line first.
Reggie Black, Holly Black. Yeah, they're down. They're right there. That was announced. It was announced on the tunnel line.
So here we go then, race 23 on the line, looking across to the far side. John Hiscock making a good start. Having some of the second spotters again, looks like the Wrights, looks like Gary and Steve Wright with the advantage at the moment as they come round towards us, and John Hiscock on the tight inside line, and Dave Steer coming through. There's Gary and Steve Wright from John Hiscock, Dave Steer in that third spot, and they go into that far bend, and there's not a lot between them this time around, and Blanford, the Wrights are getting away, Gary and Steve Wright getting away from the battle for second place, I think, but it's still John Hiscock in second place, still David Steer in third, and the wheels in the air, but Dave Steer on a really tight line off that bend and getting away with it, closing up each time, and Dave Steer goes through, and Steer in second, and Steer back to third. John Hiscock and Dave Steer having a tremendous battle out there, but Dave Steer then who gets away with number 17 in Dave Steer, and Andy Orchard now up in the second spot, and John Hiscock fights back, and John Hiscock comes back. So then Gary and Steve Wright lead, Dave Steer and Andy Orchard in that second spot, John Hiscock and Tony Bedminster in third place, and trying to pick back very difficult for the second place crew. So then, this is the last lap. The checker flag is out this time, and these folks have led throughout. It's Gary and Steve Wright from Long Eaton who make it a checker flag. Dave Steer in second place, John Hiscock in third. In first place, Dave Penfold.
48 Grant Cornelius on 7 points. Takes fly, the right hand is underway again, and in this one we've got Steve Smith and Alan Stein in the pair. John Hiscock and then Ray Foreman as a pair. Who is it? Round the first turn it's John Halsey that makes it. He's the South Eastern Centre champion, newly crowned last week with his left a cap, and in goes Steve Smith and Keith Wall. So Steve Smith and Keith Wall take up the running now. On their powered outfit. And John Halsey, Jason Lenny coming hard at him again in second place, but it looks like Smith has got it all sewn up. Steve Smith in full flight. You can never keep the man down. John Halsey, Jason Glennie going a bit wide trying to catch him, and then it's John Hiscock and Dave Steer. Partners down at the other end of the field. Round they come then, Steve Smith and Keith Wall. From John Halsey, Jason Glennie, Dave Steer, Andy Orchard, John Hiscock, Tony Bedminster, then a Ray Foreman, and an Alan and John Blewett. Obviously troubles for them to be at that end of the field. So the pairing split between first and sixth places, and the other pairs muddled up somewhere in between. Round they come then for the checkered flag, and it's number 2, Steve Smith and Keith Wall leading from number 13, John Halsey and Jason Glennie taking the second spot. Third spot to Dave Steer and Andy Orchard, then John Hiscock, Tony Bedminster, then and Ray Foreman, then taking Gary Jackson, so they need the points. Well, RACER. John Halsey's definitely away in second place until those yellow leathers anywhere, but it's Phil Pittman, Gary Lane that lead. Phil Pittman, Gary Lane leading, John Halsey coming up through in second place, then Dave Steer and Andy Orchard, Gary Jackson, Kevin Williams, Pete Dyer, Justin Westaway, Mick Caven, Mick Stace at the back. Well, it's hopping up there as they come up that back straight. Dave Steer moves up into second place behind John Halsey and Jason Glennie, then Phil Pittman, Gary Lane going right around the outside, but Dave Steer and Andy Orchard coming through on the inside. They are of course partnered with John Halsey, so this is pairs racing again. Those two now occupying all the circuit to stop anybody else coming through. It's hard enough trying to overtake one man when he's in front of you, let alone two. If you want it, 2 blokes and 1 outfit. 4 blokes on 2 outfits blocking the way, enough to box anybody. Look at this, look, 1 out wide, 1 inside. And Gary Jackson, Kevin Williams doing everything they know to try and split that pair up. Can they do it? John Horsey, Jason Glennie, Dave Steer, Andy Orchard, then Gary Jackson, Kevin Williams. Then number 90, Phil Pittman and Gary Lane. Come round now, it's the checkered flag, it's John Horsey and Jason Glennie, followed by their partners Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. Then it's Gary Jackson, Kevin Williams, then Phil Pittman, Gary Lane, then Mick Cave, Mick Stace.
Quite see what the problems are on the far side. We should be ready for race 10 and we get underway. Looking perhaps for Gary Jackson. He's in third place at the moment as they go into that first bend. Dave Steer, I think that is, has got to the front. Confirm that as they come round by me. It is indeed number 17. Dave Steer has made that tremendous first straight to get in front. Colin Hutton in second place. Colin Hutton, I say, in second place. It looks as if Gary Jackson has gone round the outside though. Gary Jackson it is that's got up into second spot. So this could be a bit more interesting as Gary Jackson tries to work his way through. Colin Hutton won't give up easily. Dave Steer and Andy Orchard going well in front. Gary Jackson again forced to go for the much wider line. So this is where you'll see it's interesting. As Gary Jackson gets forced wide, there's always a hole for Colin Hutton to try and get back into. But Gary Jackson again goes for that outside line. He's determined to get all the way around the outside. We know he's good at riding those wide lines, but Dave Steer is an absolute expert at holding the inside line. Has Gary Jackson got enough? He just sneaks in front as he goes into that pit bend. Oh, again you can see that Dave Steer has ridden well on the inside, those two together as they come out of that pit bend. Well, this will be an interesting bend as well, because Gary, we know, does try to go around the outside. Dave Steer will try and come back through on the inside, on the exit of the bend as he comes to the line. It's going to be close. Well, there wasn't a lot to part those two as they went across the line. So I knew that was going to be an interesting angle as they come off that top bend, because Dave Steer is a past master at riding those tight lines. Gary is much more of a rider that loves those quick middle lines. Well, that was indeed close on the line. I really wouldn't want to judge that one. We had that difficult one to judge earlier on in the left-hand sidecars. That, honestly, was even tighter. Particularly the East Kent Club. If you know who those children are, if you can hear me, please get out of that woodland. We don't want to upset adjoining landowners. Well, away we go with the race 22, and as we look to see who it is that's made it to the front. Oh, it's very, very close going in that first bend. Steve Heath is right up there. It was Dave Steer that has made the best of it, though. Oh, as Dave Steer fights his way back. Oh, it was Bill Beecham that had actually got to the front, number 77, as they got close to me. But Dave Steer, number 17, had recovered the situation. Oh, Dave, of course, had a second place first time out. So scoring very consistently, and he comes round off that top end, leading from number 77, Bill Beecham and Jimmy Godsill. Steve Heath and Barry Knight still holding that third place, but it looks as if Dave Steer has well and truly got things under control. You remember back to those first races that he did have a great scrap first time out, but this time it looks as if he's out there all on his own as he comes round off that top end into the last lap this time. Oh, Bill Beecham looks over his shoulder. Nobody close to him at the moment. It's Steve Heath that's desperately trying to close that gap. Well, I thought for a moment that gap between first and second had closed up a bit, but Dave Steer storms down that back straight, opens it up again, casually rides round this top bend for the last time and comes up to the checkered flag. That's going to take a win for Dave Steer. And away we go with race 33, as we know that number 17, Dave Steer, is scoring well this afternoon. He's on 12 points at the moment from 2 rides. he goes into that first corner. He's third place. As you can see, Rob Wilson has made the best of it. But Mick Cave is going through well as well. Those three outfits away at the moment as it's Rob Wilson still at the front, but he fights with his outfit in the middle of that bend. Mick Cave saw the advantage and goes after it. It's Mick Cave and Mick Stace in second place, desperately trying to push hard on Rob Wilson. Number 24, of course, in your programme, and a passenger, Tony Miles. He's gone wide once again, and I think the sense that Rob Wilson is going wide coming out of the bend. You can see again he's dived through on the inside. He knew that Rob was going to go wide in the middle of that bend, and Mick Cave has taken full advantage of it. As he goes into the top bend, Mick Cave and Mick Stace with a good ride here will know they're in the final as they come round off that top bend. They're pushing hard as they come to the front, and Dave Steer now having a challenge. Well, this certainly is going to make this point scoring in the sidecar competition very interesting indeed, because all these outfits are on similar points. As we go down the back straight, Mick Cave and Mick Stace and Dave Steer has spun it completely on the exit of that top bend. Oh, he looked before he disappeared behind the tanker to be okay to me. I can't see yet as if he's still moving. But it's Mick Cave that comes to the finishing line. Mick Cave and Mick Stace finish. Rob Wilson and Tony Miles get second. They're all giving them plenty of encouragement on that top bend, because these points could make a lot of difference. With this third place, I would tempt fate and say that there's possibilities Dave may still make the final. So it's an important result to them. A lot of difficulty in pushing that outfit. I can only assume that it's been a punch or something. We'll see when they get a bit closer to me, but that has not looked easy, and these are by far not the conditions to actually do an exercise like this. Dave, I think, using every ounce of energy he's got to get that outfit to the line. That finishing master's not going to move an inch, is he? Can't somebody walk into him or something? And Mr. O'Donnell proving to me that they are going to do everything by the rule book. They've got to actually get to that white line where that checkered flag is, and as you can see, that wheel, the back tyre has completely disintegrated. It's locking itself up, and the front spindle has crossed the line. The trials members amongst you out there will know exactly what I'm talking about. The front spindle has crossed the line, so they get credited with the result.
In practice, and he's blown the motor, number 39, Shane Baker and Clinton Martin. So we should have 5, we've only got 4, so obviously Phil Prescott is a non-starter, and as we get off the line, it's Roger Measor who shows to the front. Dave Steer up there as well, and as they go into the first turn, it's John Halsey getting tailed off a little bit, but it's Dave Steer leading as they come off the bottom turn by a whisker from Roger Measor in second place. Trying up the outside, and John Halsey just getting tailed off a little bit at the moment. But the leading 3 absolutely together on the top turn. Steer it is then. And here comes Roger Measor trying to go down the outside. He'll probably go in wide and lock it up and try and come back on the inside. But Dave Steer it is leading still on that bottom turn. And sure enough, Roger tries to come through on the inside. Absolutely classical move, in wide and out tight. So the new leader, number 51, Roger Measor and Shane Lapham. Dave Steer and Andy Orchard there in second place. In third place still Ivor Matthews and Pete Jones, and John Halsey and Jason Glennie still not recovered from a poor start, and John really not having the best season. So Roger Measor, who goes to the second round of the Masters with a 3-point lead. It is out in front. He had a superb meeting on the Bridgenorth 3 weeks ago. Until the rain tempered everybody's enthusiasm, of course. Roger Measor it is, on the bottom turn by some 20 or 30 metres, checkered flag at the ready. And raced on Roger Measor and Shane Lapham, Dave Steer in second place, and Ivor Matthews in third. And trailing in fourth place on the Yamaha Wasp, John Halsey and Jason Glennie.
The riders being called in once again, and obviously we're anxious to see that that start does get away and give them all a fair start. Once again, they come in line, you'll hear the revs go up, and this time they're away cleanly. There's no red flags, they're away, or is there? We go into that first bend, and you can see that Russell Ing has made an exceptionally good start. Russell Ing goes through a good first corner from him. Gary Jackson trying to go for the outside line, although I can see those red flags flying. Oh, it looks as if we are away this time cleanly. All 6 outfits have got away, and this time it is Gary Jackson that's got to the front. Dave Steer has gone well into that first bend. Craig Cheatham is up there as well. Ivor Matthews moving through on the inside of Craig Cheatham and gets up into second place. Russell Ing's back in fourth. I can see that it is Gary Jackson and Kevin Williams that have actually taken the lead though. Ivor Matthews holding on to second place, moves through very, very tight in the bends. Craig Cheatham and Clive Reynolds up in third. Dave Steer holding fourth place at the moment. Russell Ing in fifth. Ridge and Colin Blackthorne, they pull out on the bottom of the circuit. And as we look to that far side, Gary Jackson getting away from the rest of the field, comes around very, very quickly around that bottom bend. He's driving a wide line. I'm sure Gary's testing the circuit to see exactly what is the faster line for the final. Oh, Dave Steer going well now, trying to move through for that third place. He gets through into third place. Oh, the brilliant entrance into the corner from Dave Steer, but Craig Cheatham comes back at him going down that back straight. Well, I can only assume that Russell Ing has hit a problem because he really is slowing as he goes down that back straight. Into the last lap we go, and Gary Jackson and Kevin Williams have got a good lead on Ivor Matthews and Peter Jones. Dave Steer has got that third place back again. Russell Ing is back to the fifth. I wonder if the maths will work out. Will they make the final with the points they're going to get in this semi-final? Of course, they were on maximum points as they went into this semi-final. We watch to see whether this position will be good enough to get them through. Gary Jackson certainly be in that final. I feel sure that Ivor Matthews and Peter Jones will be. Dave Steer, well, that could be questionable because Dave didn't have the strongest points coming into the semi-final. Craig Cheatham and Russell Ing. Steve Smith right out on this outside in gate 5. Reg Blackthorne going out there as well. So that's how they line up. The tapes are set, away go the tapes, and we get a clean start this time as we get underway with the start of the B final. And it's Alan and John Blewett that have made the rest of the starts as they indeed go into that first corner. Alan and John Blewett. Alan and John Blewett made that very quick start, but they've lost out a little bit of time on the rest of the field. We watch them come round. Oh, as they come past me, it is indeed Alan and John Blewett. They still lead from Dave Steer in second. Rod and Chris Winterberg. As we watch them go down into that bottom bend, Alan and John Blewett. We were disappointed, I'm sure, that they're in this B final, but once you're in it, then the best thing you can do is go out and win it. Dave Steer has got different ideas though, as Dave Steer starts to close up. They hold a very, very tight line and a very quick line on this bottom bend, and it's coming out of that bottom bend that they do look to have the advantage as they go into the last lap. Well, this is going to be a terrific finish, I'm sure, because Dave Steer is very, very will he be closer this time? He's certainly a lot in that third lap as we watch to see him come round. This is where he's quicker. Is he going to do it? Will he put it tight enough? Alan and John Blewett knew he was there. They power on and indeed take the B final. Rob Wilson and Tony Miles hit problems first time out. They are desperate to score some points. Gary Jackson and Kevin Williams just inside them, and then on the inside of them, Ivor Matthews and Peter Jones with only a third place first time out. Oh, away we go. It promises to be an interesting one as they come up. Oh, Dave Steer has gone after him. Gary Jackson is up in third, and again Ivor Matthews is back, and Dave Steer goes through on the inside. Rob Wilson hitting problems again as he's gone into that first bend. It's Dave Steer that's got out in front. Gary Jackson goes after him, and Adrian Davis it is that's got up in third place in front of Ivor Matthews and Peter Jones at the moment, and Rob Wilson going again but back in fifth place. more tyres or something, because they do look to be in very good form now as they go down the back straight. Gary Jackson and Kevin Williams, no answer to them at the moment. There's quite a gap opening up, and look at Rob Wilson coming through. He's got through up into 4th place and now already has Adrian Davis in his sights, and he's going for the wide line round the outside. Oh, a great ride this from Rob Wilson. Of him, and I wonder will he at that speed be able to catch 2nd place. While Adrian Davis not giving up that 3rd easily, he wants to have a go for it once again. And as they go down the back straight, you can see that Dave Steer and Andy Orchard don't look like being caught, as this time they come up to me and take the last lap flag. Gary Jackson and Kevin Williams not able to close that gap from 2nd to 1st. I've talked so many weeks now about the problems that Rob Wilson has had, but it doesn't look as if he's out of that area at all yet. He's still getting those misfires going into the 1st bend. Well, as we come round the last bend, I can see that Gary Jackson has closed on that 2nd place, but he's not going to catch Dave Steer. It's going to be a good one. Got itself back to the start line. I should mention, of course, Dave Steer, outfit number 17. He had a win 2nd time out, and he's certainly doing very well. The man off the start line, he's gone very quickly to that top bend, but it's Dave Steer and Andy Orchard that have got away. Well, Tim Bennett went very wide on that 1st bend. John Hiscock seemed to follow him wide, but he's now come through on the inside of him and goes through up into 2nd place. So John Hiscock and Tony Bemister, they know that they've got to score well in this 3rd ride. They're on 8 points at the moment. They put it almost sideways on that bottom bend. Recover from it well. In a very strong position at the moment. Oh, John Hiscock and Tony Bemister, I think the 2nd place would be enough to get them at least into the semi-final. They're on 8 points at the moment, so certainly 5 points from this ride would put them in a fairly strong position. It does depend on what happens in the other races, and I can see that Mick Cave problems, and I think that will finish Mick's day's racing for this afternoon. He hasn't scored good points at all, so disappointing to see them pull out with problems. But isn't Dave Steer and Andy Orchard going well this afternoon? They come round off that bottom bend into the last lap this time. Opened up a very good gap between them and Tim Bennett in 3rd. Pete Dyer not being able to catch Tim Bennett at the moment. He certainly got close on that top bend last time, but still the gap there between those two. As we watch to see Dave Steer and Andy Orchard coming round off this bottom bend, they really do look to be driving. Another good win for them. Number 17, dare I mention that number, Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. Number 23, Gary Jackson and Kevin Williams. And a great ride this afternoon from outfit number 8. They've got to be seen as the best up-and-coming crew, Mark Edwards and Nick Walters. A tremendous final lineup. We watch to see what happens. You can see that they've been drawing for gate positions. Who is it that's got the best of the gates? Well, I've really been very mixed this afternoon. I've seen some excellent starts made from gates 2 and 3, but equally I've seen people come off gate 5 and 6 very well as well. So I'm not sure that there is any advantage, the theory being that if on the inside you meet the racing surface quicker because of the apex of the bend, but whether that makes a lot of difference or not, I don't know at this late stage. Now we can see you've got Gary Jackson on grid 1, Phil Pittman has got grid 2, Roger Measor is next to him on grid 3, we've got Dave Steer just on the outside of the middle, that's grid 4, Mark Edwards is in 5, and Rustling right on the outside. Oh, it's Phil Pittman that we're waiting to come into line. Roger Measor looking very relaxed indeed. Shane not even on the outfit as yet. Now he comes into line, so everybody's settled. The revs will start to go up. The starters look happy with the situation. Away we go. It's a good clean start. We've got underway with Roger Measor that goes to the front as they go into that first bend. Russell Ing is right there with him. They both go very, very wide, and Dave Steer comes through on the inside. Dave Steer has gone up into second place. He's now got Roger Measor to try and catch. Russell Ing has hit problems by the look of it as Mark Edwards gets close to Russell Ing. Well, Mark Edwards now has got problems as he goes out on the bottom corner. But as we look to the front, it's Roger Measor. Russell Ing and Paul Urick still there in third. Gary Jackson has got up into fourth. As they get close on that top corner, Dave Steer pushing hard on the back wheel of Roger Measor. But the 1993 Whoppa winner out in front. He had a win earlier on this year at the Sidecar Spectacular that Wimborne Club hosted. He's now leading from Dave Steer in second place. He's trying to close up on Russell Ing. But again, we get close in this top corner. Dave Steer is not giving up the fight. He's still having a go on that top bend. But it's down the back straight that Roger Measor looks to be so much quicker. Into this bottom bend we go then as they go into the last lap as they come past me this time. Roger Measor and Shane Lapham and again they get close on that top corner. As they go down the back straight, Dave Steer definitely having a go. But on this bottom bend, I've got to say that it does look as if Roger Measor has been the quickest. But there's one more corner to go, and Dave Steer goes for the outside. He's trying to get round the outside of Roger Measor. A great effort from Dave Steer. What a tremendous effort from them. Oh, they tried everything they possibly could. And indeed, as they go over the line, third place of course to Russell Ing and Paul Urick. But what a tremendous sidecar final that turned out to be. Dave Steer and Andy Orchard tried everything they possibly could, and I'm sorry to say it does look as if Andy Orchard possibly took a knock in that last corner. Well, they're making their way through. Nobody said that Roger Measor got in their way on the way up here, did they? Well, that of course is second place, and before I call the winners up here, Andy, I've got to have a quick word. The first thing you did when you finished was dash across to the St John's. Nothing serious, I hope.
No, just bruised up, that's all.
So you're going to be alright?
Perfect.
This is drinking hand, so I get plenty of practice during the week. Oh, Gary and Steve Wright not happy with things at the moment. They've got their arm in the air, but they're now being called into line as they get underway. Gary Wright has been left on the line. But as they come past me for the first time, it's Rob Wilson has made the best of the starts. John Woolsey goes into second place to go in that first bend. You can see Rob Wilson has gone very, very wide though. John Woolsey takes over the lead and Gary Jackson now comes through. So Gary Jackson and Kevin Williams taking the advantage of the mistakes that were made in that first bend. They get themselves to the front as they come round the pit bend for the first time, fighting with the outfit every inch of the way as they go past us. John Woolsey making up good ground on Gary Jackson, looking to try and find a gap to go through. This I think is where John Woolsey will take advantage as Gary Jackson is going for the lead. You can see John Woolsey is able to hold a much tighter line coming out of that top bend. It certainly looks to have suited John Woolsey's outfit better than most others as they go into that top bend. And watch interestingly now they've got to the front whether they in fact will make the mistakes that the rest of the riders were making. Dave Steer has got himself up in the third place. Still Pepper and Miles Simmons in fourth, but under pressure now for Bob Wilson who's been covered in that first bend. The excursion to the boards. As we look to that pit bend for the second time, you can see that John Woolsey looks very comfortable indeed this afternoon. He's opened up quite a gap on Gary Jackson and Kevin Williams. Dave Steer now now coming under pressure from Phil Pittman and Mark Phillips. Again, there's all sorts of problems for Wilson. Ripped his riser off by the look of it, so he's picked up far too much dirt from other people's bikes. We'll check the flag goes for John Woolsey. He takes a very good win first time out. Dave Steer's got through for that second place. Gary Jackson finishing eventually in third spot. And Phil Pittman crossing the line in fourth. Having already had 2 wins so far this afternoon, Dave Steer out against them has had 2 seconds. Ivor Matthews, of course, missed out on his first ride, but has had a second place, second time out. So he'll be looking to get another good result this time as they get underway. Watching to see who's got the advantage. That is Steve Smith who's got to the front. Tim Bennett is right up there in second place, but Ivor Matthews just moves through going into that first bend. All the outfits together in that first bend and has to get themselves sorted out. It's Ivor Matthews that gets up into that second place. Tim Bennett still hanging on the third, but that's Dave Steer and Andy Orchard desperately trying to get that third from them. As we see going past us for the second time, Steve Smith and Keith Wall leading Ivor Matthews and Peter Jones. Now Dave Steer has got up into that third place. Tim Bennett losing out and Bobby Wilson looking to come through as well as Bobby Wilson now closing up on Dave Steer. And Dave Steer had problems as they come off that top bend. Well, there's quite a gap now between second and third place, but Robbie Wilson is the rider in fourth trying to get that third spot. Steve Smith and Keith Wall looking very impressive this afternoon. Perhaps it's the V-twin power of the Cosmos proving to be the advantage. All of the Yamahas supplying so much spin to the back wheel, not getting any grip at all. That could be the advantage that Steve Smith has got as he comes round off that bottom bend. Looking very, very comfortable indeed. Into the last lap he goes. I thought that on the last lap, as they went into this top corner, Ivor Matthews looked to be closing on Steve Smith. But it's not proved to be the case this time as we go down the back straight. Still that fight going on for that third place. Robbie Wilson desperately trying to get past Dave Steer, and he's got completely filled in there. Look at it, rips his goggles off as he goes down that back straight. Well, Steve Smith casually looking over his shoulder. And I think possibly he's hit a problem because he's certainly slow going across the line, but he gets that third win. Ivor Matthews and Peter Jones finishing in second, and they still will need a very good result in their last ride to qualify for that final. Well, as we quickly move to the Sidecar final, Tony, we're already underway with the Sidecar final, and I can see that on the inside it is John Halsey that's made the best of the gates. Steve Smith up there in second place, John Hiscock in fact fighting for that second place as well as they come round that first bend. And John Halsey really has got away from the rest of the field. There's a scrap going on in that first bend for second place, and John Hiscock seems to have got the best of it. But as they come past me for the second time, it's a very determined John Halsey and Jason Gurney. They really have got away from the field. John Hiscock and Tony Bannister up in second place, and look at the scrap that's going on for that fourth, fifth and sixth place. Three outfits together in that top end. So really the interesting position is watching that 1, 2 and 3, because John Halsey and Jason Gurney look to be in tremendous form this afternoon, have romped away in the final. Now they've got problems on that bottom bend. They turn it almost sideways but recover well, get back onto the racing line, and they really have got a lot of distance on John Hiscock and Tony Bannister in second place. Steve Smith and Keith Wall holding on to that third place at the moment, but Dave Steer is starting to get close to them, and Dave Steer comes on the inside of Dizzy. He's getting very, very close to that third place as we've got one more lap to go. John Halsey and Jason Gurney getting all sorts of signals from the marshals now. Just take it steady, take it calm. You've got a mile of a lead on second place. So I'm sure he'll take notice of that, and as he goes down that back straight, just make sure that everything's 100%. But look at the way he's closing up for that third spot. Dave Steer desperately trying to get that third. Again he tries to go through on the inside, and he does so. Well, as we watch him go into this final bend, Steve Smith knows that he's got third gone from him, but John Halsey and Jason Gurney take a great win here at the Burn-up in 94. John Hiscock and Tony Bannister finishing second, a great result for them, and it is Dave Steer and Andy Orchard that come through for that third place.
As always, we start with third place, and finishing third in 1994 is Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. Two smiling faces there, I think you'll agree, but Dave, I've got to have a quick word. I know you hate talking to me on this microphone, but I've got to have a quick word because I've got to say earlier on this afternoon you looked to be one that really was struggling with the conditions.
Well, we was, and I think we made the best start we made all day in the final, but unfortunately come out of gear. But I'd like to say thank you very much to all our sponsors for this year. Thank you very much.
Well, obviously the right place today, that sort of statement, because obviously without the sponsors you couldn't compete. And Colin, I've got to say, well, I'm not going to let you get away. I know you were trying to sneak off there, but people do want to hear what you've got to say about the sport. And obviously, perhaps not expecting to be up here on this rostrum tonight.
Why not?
There you can see he's one of these lovely people to interview. Look, why not? He expects to be up here on every rostrum, but you've got to admit, he does turn on at the right occasions, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's brilliant. Can't complain fault him at all. But just say thanks to all our mechanics we've had all year, Paul, Ian and Jason. Thank you very much.
Well, this is the opportunity to do it. And I would say, finishing in third place, a very good achievement indeed. Third place this year, Dave Steer and Andy Orchard.
Robbie Wilson and Colin Hill going past as well, number 25, and number 17 is Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. And of course the change, no number 3, Alan Blewett and Barry Metcalf. In their place comes number 25, and that is Robbie Wilson and Colin Hill. Robbie Wilson and Colin Hill come in place of Alan and John Blewett. Almost said it, didn't I? Going back a few years there, Alan Blewett and Barry Metcalf, of course. Well, if you're in earshot, could Simon Brown make his way to the GRASSTRACK stand? Simon Brown, somebody would like to work with you. As we get underway with race 4 in your programme, it's heat 2 of the 1000cc sidecars, and an outfit very much in form at the moment goes straight to the front as they go into that first bend. It is Phil Pittman and Miles Simmons. Pulling away as they go up that back stretch. I think that's one of his fellow Cornishman, Kevin Stevens, and he's tied off this up in second place. Dave Steer is the rider in third at the moment, trying to get that second place from Kevin Stevens. But as they come down past us, Phil Pittman and Miles Simmons getting away from the battle that's going on for that second place. Oh, Dave Steer definitely trying to find a way through on the inside of Kevin Stevens. Different lines that they've got round these bends. Kevin Stevens keeping the power on, just a little wider, and of course Dave Steer, we know, so often rides those very tight lines. Coming around off that pit bend, looks to have got that second place from Kevin Stevens. Now Richard Thomas is getting in on the action, and Richard Thomas trying to get that third spot now as it is. And he's going a long way round. A great scrap for that third place as Richard Thomas tries to go all the way around the outside, backing down onto brick grass on the far side of the circuit. Terrific ride from Richard Thomas and Kevin Woodley as they definitely trying to get that pace improved and up to third spot. While I'm talking about the battle that's going on for third, let's not take it away from Phil Pittman and Miles Simmons. They've well and truly established themselves at the front, making it almost looking. They were starting to close on them, so we wonder if he's got a bit more to offer as the afternoon goes on, because he's certainly closed up on Phil Pittman as they go into this pit pen for the last time. Well, Phil Pittman's going to win it, but look how close Dave Steer's got to him. Oh, indeed, if he perhaps hadn't had so much traffic earlier on in that race, it could have been a completely different story. So still lots to look forward to as the afternoon develops. So as we look to first leg results, it perhaps will be a clash between Dave Steer and Mick Cave. And I'm also disappointed to see that we've still got no Ivor Matthews. He was due out in this one, of course, didn't appear in his first leg ride. It therefore may well be a straight scrap between these two outfits as we go into that first bend. It's those two that have got to the front. Mick Cave making the better of it as he goes into that first bend. But Dave going for the wide line and going all the way around the outside as he goes up that back straight. Dave Steer and Andy Orchard it is that get to the front as they go into the pit bend for the first time. Mick Cave and Mick Space still there in second place and close to them. Might keep holding third spot at the moment, but coming under pressure from Arthur Dibbon and Bob Frost. Arthur Dibbon going for the inside line, looking to force Mike Keep to go wide, allowing a gap to come through on the inside. Howard's up that right place. A good corner from Arthur Dibbon and Bob Frost. They've got that third place from Mick Keep. But as we look to the front, it is Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. Remember, they got quicker in their first ride. They had problems getting through traffic in the early part of the race, but once they did get up into second, they really did start to pile the pressure on. Will make the spoiler this afternoon, getting faster as the day goes on perhaps. Okay, the mix station, no answer to them at the moment as they come round off that top bend. Once again into the last lap. This their second ride this afternoon. Mick Cave still there in second place. Arthur Dibbon and Bob Frost comfortably now in that third spot, leading off the challenge of Mick Keith and Holyfield. Across that far side, all of them getting separated now. Large gaps developed between each of them as you see them come off the top end. A win, his first of the afternoon for outfit number 17. Of course, Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. Looking to that start line, only three outfits we know. We didn't see Kevin Stevens' first time out, or second time out I should say. No Mark Edwards, so three very good outfits out there though, and I think this could be a good scrap between these three. Now they've got plenty of room on that first bend, only the three of them out there. John Horsey is on the inside with Colin Hill, Ron Wilson and Tony Miles on the outside. Dave Steer though lurking in third place. Now this certainly could be interesting because as Rob Wilson tries to go for John Horsey will try and close the gaps on Rob Wilson, and the danger is that you leave too big a gap for that man in third place, Dave Steer. He's already got through in front of Rob Wilson, and that was exactly what happened. John Horsey had moved Rob Wilson out, still Rob Wilson needs to come by me, and Dave Steer sneaks on the inside. John Horsey then leading from Dave Steer at the moment as they go into that top bend. John Horsey and Colin Hill looking to score good points in this one and make sure of a semi-final. Well, Dave Steer in fact loses a mudguard by the look of it. I thought something a bit more serious had fallen off, but it only looks as if it is a sidecar mudguard cover. So no effect to the running conditions of the machinery as he goes up that back straight. Dave Steer and Andy Orchard looking for that win perhaps, looking for a way through. John Horsey though has got faster as the afternoon has gone on. He goes into the last lap. That's how it is as they go past me. John Horsey leading from Dave Steer in second. Rob Wilson still not out of the action though. He's right up there on the back wheel of Dave Steer as they go up that back straight. The three of them still together as indeed I expected them to be. But there's problems for Dave Steer, is there? He's slowed going up that back straight, and Rob Wilson has sneaked through into second place. Well, as they come to the line, it's going to be close, but it is going to be a win for John Horsey. Rob Wilson and Tony Miles at second. Dave Steer and Andy Orchard finishing in third. We go with this, the second of the semi-finals. They come down past me. A lot of outfits knowing they've got to do well in this semi-final. John Horsey has taken it by the horns and got to the front. Rob Wilson there in second place, but St. David trying to come through as well. David here takes advantage. He goes right the way around the outside and gets up into second place. But it is in front at the moment. John Horsey and passenger Colin Hill. Dave Steer and Andy Orchard in second. St. Davis has gone incredibly wide. It is Rob Wilson and Tony Miles still there in third place. I'll say trying to stay in line with those front three. They're all moving quickly. Rob Wilson now closing up on Dave Steer as they go off the back straight. John Halsey still leading at the moment though, around this top bend. It's all closing up behind him. As you can see, Dave Steer trying for the inside, Rob Wilson for the outside. And again, well, I can see there's problems for Sage Davis and Justin Westaway. They indeed trailing a chain as they go past me. Very, very unfortunate for them as they go by me. Losing the chain in the semi-final. As we look to the back straight, it still stays close for that second and third place. Rob Wilson all the time trying to get round the outside. Comes down past us for the third time into the last lap. As you can see, John Halsey forcing Dave Steer to stay behind him, giving Rob Wilson a chance to go round the outside, and Rob Wilson looks like he's going to go for both of them. A terrific bend from Rob Wilson and Tony Miles. In fact, gets in front of John Halsey, and they're desperately trying to close the door on John Halsey going into this top bend. He indeed does so. Well, has he gone wide? John Halsey comes back underneath him. It's John Halsey that takes it. Rob Wilson gets second. Dave Steer gets third. A terrific semi-final from those three. Well, does it mean that all those three qualify? I think unofficially I'll say I think it might do. Well, as we look to the far side, it's race 6 that's on the start line. This is the first outing for the Sidecar crews, and I was going to say one to look for would be number 8 Mark Edwards, because he had a terrific win up at the Marks Bonanza last weekend, but you can see there's problems on that first bend. Pete Goodwin, I think that is, that's hit problems on that first bend. Rory McGuigan it was that had made the best of that first bend. I thought for a moment underway, but something not quite right on that far side. Tapes repaired, and obviously they've now called the riders back into line, and we get underway with this, the restart of race 6, and a much better start this time for Mark Edwards and Nick Waters. Dave Steer is up there in second place at the moment. As we go into that first bend already, I thought we perhaps lost one of the riders, but they've got the bike going again. As indeed they come off that first bend, it is Mark Edwards and Nick Waters in lead from Dave Steer. And our reserve Justin Peach up there in third place. Craig Cheatham holding fourth at the moment. So perhaps the battle is going to be for that third place as Mark Edwards and Nick Waters move away down that back straight. Dave Steer desperately trying to close down on them as they go into this top bend. He certainly closed the gap on the entrance of that bend, but Mark Edwards has got a good line coming out. And again he pulls away from Dave Steer, but it's the entrance to the bends that Dave Steer seems to catch up. Justin Peach still up there in third place coming into this meeting, of course, as reserve. He's taken the place of Pete Goodwin, who pulled out of race 6. As you can see, the reserve coming in and showing an excellent result at the moment as they come down past us going into the last lap. Mark Edwards and Nick Waters still leading. Dave Steer and Andy Orchard still there in second place. Justin Peach and Ian Weatherly still in third at the moment, as Craig Cheatham and Clive Reynolds not having a good time at the moment, back in fourth place. Well, they'll certainly be disappointed with that. Again, Dave Steer gets very close to Mark Edwards in that top bend. But as the checkered flag is made ready, it is Mark Edwards and Nick Waters that win. Dave Steer and Andy Orchard finish in second. Justin Peach and Ian Weatherly in third. Going up, they are indeed underway now for race 14. Looking for Lennon Ray Froome, and they're on the inside, but it's Justin Peach, the reserve, that's got to the front as they go into that first bend. It's very, very close in that first bend. Lennon Ray Froome is still there in second place, but it is the reserve Justin Peach that's got out in front. Rob Winterburn up there in third place, of course, had that disastrous result in his first ride. Looking for Lennon Ray Froome perhaps to close up on the leader, Justin Peach and Ian Weatherly. Good ride this from them. You can see that Rob Winterburn is trying to put pressure on Lennon Ray Froome for that second spot. Len deciding, I think, to go for the wide line on this pit bend. He's decided now to perhaps to follow Justin Pete's round and maybe get the advantage down that back straight, but he's turned the power on a bit too soon and he's kicked the back out, so no advantage that time, though he has still kept his lead in front of Winterburn. Looking for a very, very tight line on that bottom bend. Indeed, I can see that we have got a red flag as the last lap flag went out as they come past me. Obviously we've got an outfit and riders on the circuit at the bottom bend. The change of course is that number 74 Duncan Tolhurst comes in place of number 5 Mick Cave, and Duncan also on 10 points, the same as Reg and Colin Blackburn. On 11 points is Rob Wilson Jr. And as they get underway, it is Robbie that's made an excellent start once again. As he goes down that back straight, he's let it slip though. I think that's Reg and Colin Blackburn. They're back in third place, trying to work out who it is that's got through. In the front is Rick Colvin that had got to the front. Well, Robbie Wilson comes back at him again. So really the outfits that I was expecting to have in the battle at the front have been upset by Rick Colvin getting in on the action. He's up in second place. Dave Steer also a long way back down the field, so there could be some interesting sidecar racing in this one. As we watch the inside tight line taken by Dave Steer, he's trying to pick them off as he comes around that bottom bend. Robbie and Colin Hill have stayed in the front, but they know there must be quite a battle going on behind them. Indeed there is. You can see that all things are starting to happen in that second place. Duncan Tolhurst putting it sideways, and of course a neat little heart flutters as he did so, as he comes down that bottom corner now, still holding that second place. Rick is again going very, very wide. Dave Steer moves through on the inside of him. So Dave Steer gradually moving up the field as Robbie Wilson looks to have slowed on that pit bend, but he's very, very quick down the back straight. Duncan Tolhurst though is close right up on him. There could be an attempt at this lead as they come off that top bend for the last time. Robbie looks over his shoulder, he knows that Duncan is close, but he's managed to take yet another win. Duncan Tolhurst gets second, Dave Steer in third. Well, that was close to the line for fourth place. I think that Rick Colvin did hang on to it.
Right over here in the corner, we've got number 17, Dave Steer. I was going to say Andy Orchard, of course it is Andy Orchard. I was rather suspicious there, because wasn't he injured a few weeks ago? Oh, nodding at me, but it looks as if he's okay today. That completes a tremendous sidecar line-up for this afternoon. To get off the start, Ivor Matthews, as they get underway, as they go up towards that first turn. It's Dave Steer that's made the best of the starts as he goes into that first bend. It all gets very, very close on that first bend though, as John Halsey tries to come through on the inside. Ivor Matthews now working his way through. Number 23, Gary Jackson, is the one that I perhaps should have gone on about, because they've all come together in this first ride. He's leading the competition at the moment on maximum points, but as they go up the back straight, none of them have got an answer to Dave Steer at the moment as he goes into that top bend. John Halsey is the closest to him. Now Ivor Matthews has started to warm up as he goes round the outside of Gary Jackson in third place at the moment. So Gary Jackson has got some work to do to get to the front. He's holding third at the moment. This is going to make the point situation very interesting indeed, as Ivor Matthews gets it completely wrong going into that bottom bend, as he comes round off the bottom bend, still sitting there in fourth place, trying to close up on Gary Jackson in third. But it's Dave Steer and Andy Orchard that have really, well, set the pulses running, I should say, because when we look at the first round, Dave Steer was on 18 points from 4 rides. Well, this really is going to throw a massive cat amongst the pigeons, because John Halsey in second place is looking at picking up best points in this ride at the moment, because Ivor Matthews is now moving through on the inside of Gary Jackson.
So things not going well for Gary Jackson at the moment. Ivan Matthews getting closer and closer to him as they come to the checkered flag. It's going to be a race win for Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. It's going to be close for this second, but John Halsey just gets it. Gary Jackson in third. Ivan Matthews and Peter Jones finishing in fourth. Race 9, look across that far side, and we start with the 1000cc right-hand sidecars. First outing. And indeed, as we go into that first bend, some very interesting pairs. Of course, they're using the tighter bend on that top half of the field. It's Mark Edwards and Nick Waters that have got to the front. Oh, they're partnered with John Hiscock and Matt Sleep, who are up in second place at the moment, but that changes as John Halsey comes through on the inside. John Halsey and Jason Glennie then up into second place. They're partnered with Dave Steer and Andy Orchard, who's now got through into third place. So if my arithmetic works correctly, these two pairs will end up on the same points as if they stay as they are, but John Hiscock wants to change things. Comes through on the inside from that top bend to get up into third spot. So Mark Edwards and Nick Waters getting away a little bit as they got that back straight. John Halsey and Jason Glennie desperately trying to close them down, but John Hiscock losing those front two a little bit. He's holding on to third and has got his own little battle with Dave Steer, who goes completely sideways. Manages to hang on to the outfit though. Still desperately trying to get past John Hiscock. Oh, it'll be the checkered flag this time for them, the first time out this afternoon for these crews, and it is Mark Edwards and Nick Waters who are having such a good run at the moment. Lead if they come round to take the checkered flag. First time out for them, they're going to take a race victory. John Halsey gets second, and this third place that's been battled for is eventually taken by Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. It's an interesting competition this one's turning out to be. After the first ride, Craig Cheatham and Steve Smith are on 12 points, Phil Pittman and Ivan Matthews on 12 points. And as we get underway with this one, I was going to say that John Halsey and Dave Steer on 9 points. They come out in this particular race, and as they come around off that first bend, it is those two that get to the front in front of Chris Tyrrell and Aaron Borlace. Into this bottom bend they go, and Dave Steer just with the lead from John Halsey, but they won't be trying to race each other. I'm sure John Halsey will just consider keeping out of the dust line of Dave Steer. Try as they will to actually find a better or faster line around both those bends, and John going wide to avoid that trail coming off the back wheel of Dave Steer. Turns inside it now, and just as I say that, he goes straight through the middle of it. But never do what I say they're going to do they? Oh, Dave Steer and Andy Orchard, traditionally we're so used to them hugging those flags on the inside, and again they do it on that top corner. Into the last lap, and looks to be a very comfortable win for Dave Steer and Andy Orchard at the moment. So maximum points to be picked up for this crew. And if I remind you of last year's result, as I say, the meeting was shortened somewhat, but Dave Steer and Andy Orchard partnered John Halsey and Jason Glennie last year, and they actually finished second overall, that pair. At that start line, we get underway once again. John Halsey's made a very, very good start as he goes up that back straight. He's pulled Dave Steer with him, so this is going to be the sort of result that they wanted if they can stay as 1 and 2 as they go into that first bend in that position. Dave French back in third place with his partner Brett Osborne holding fourth at the moment. But John Halsey gets away and drags Dave Steer with him as Dave Steer again hugs those flags and goes to those tight lines. Well, I think this is just going to be a conformity ride because it means that we're going to see these two in the final. Problems for Brett Osborne on that far side. He's slowed. Dave French has now got all the track to himself in third. Oh, indeed, as the checkered flag goes, it is going to be a race win for John Halsey and Jason Glennie. Their partners Dave Steer and Andy Orchard finish in second place. Oh, indeed, as we look to this, the final race of the day, it's got a very interesting position now on the points. I would emphasise that this is unofficial, that I'm adding the points up as we go through, and I'm just here as observer and commentator and trying to help, obviously. But by my reckoning, Ivor Matthews and Phil Pittman have moved on to 40 points. John Hiscock and Mark Edwards on to 38 points. John Halsey and Dave Steer on to 40 points. So effective as we go into this race, it could all be decided, indeed, between the positions of Dave Steer and Ivor Matthews. And as they come round that first bend, it's Dave Steer that's got to the front. So Dave Steer and Andy Orchard leading from Ivor Matthews and Peter Jones as they go into that bottom bend, and this indeed is a fight between these two. Mark Edwards could of course upset this result between these two, but at the moment, as Mark Edwards is fighting with Ivor Matthews, it's Dave Steer and Andy Orchard that lead, and they know that if they win this, they've won it overall as they go down past us. Mark Edwards again tries to have a go at Ivor Matthews and Peter Jones going into that bottom corner. Those two outfits together as they go up that back straight, and Mark Edwards again looks for the gap and goes through. So as Mark Edwards gets up into second place, it makes it better for Dave Steer and Andy Orchard as they come towards the checkered flag. They're going to win the best pairs for 1995. So John Halsey and Dave Steer have won the national best pairs for 1995 with two terrific results there, with wins in those split finals. By my reckoning, that gives them 47 points overall. And perhaps disappointing for local crew Phil Pittman and Miles Simmons, Ivor Matthews not being able to perform in that last mini-final, and it means that I think by my reckoning they slot into second place, but I'll wait for that official result, as indeed the winners overall will be John Halsey and Dave Steer. Of the 1000cc right-hand sidecar. We knew right from the start of the day that even though it was a big track, it looked to be a safe circuit to ride, it was not going to be an easy victory. Well, they didn't make it easy either, because they started badly on points, but they've come through and done it in the final. The partnership of John Halsey and of course Dave Steer, not forgetting passengers Jason Glennie and Andy Orchard. And this is where we see a great big smile from the organiser, because she's got enough laurels left. Now what do you reckon the chances are of getting those four up here? More chance of me getting to the moon, I know. I mean, really, start of the day, a bit lackadaisical, just picking up the odd few points, but that final, very determined driving.
Well, John put a lot of pressure on us winning it, but we had to win it, and that was it, really.
So I've got to blame John for putting the pressure by winning that first final, have I? Right. Anyway, the champions of this year, the British Best Pairs champions for 1995 in the Sidecar 1000cc class, it was of course John Halsey and Jason Glennie, Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. And Andy's over the moon. No, I didn't speak to him, look. See, now he's disappearing off to the beer tent, I'm told is the order of the day.
Gathered up a bit of momentum on the inside and holds off the challenge. It's Justin Beach and Ian Wedley from Reg and Colin Blackburn. Down that back straight they go. Then Robbie Wilson Jr. coming in underneath Reg and Colin Blackburn. And underneath Justin Beach and Ian Wedley. Get over the lot of them. 25 then Robbie Wilson Jr. forced his way to the front. What's there in second place? And Justin Beach and Ian Wedley. Then Dave Steer and Andy Orchard, a man who's notorious at not making the start this year, but seems to work his way through the field afterwards. He's now up to third place. Justin Peach losing a bit of ground. Reg and Colin Blackburn slowed right up there behind them. Lee Ray coming round them now. But it's Robbie Wilson Jr. and Colin Hill leading from Paul Roberts and Keith Rock. Trying to go around the outside of Vaughan Roberts now. Didn't quite get there that time. Let's see what happens as they come round the next turn. It's Robbie Wilson Jr. out in front. Robbie Wilson Jr. and Colin Hill then. Vaughan Roberts and Keith Watts holding on to second. Trying to go around the outside of Vaughan Roberts this time. Can they get there? Vaughan Roberts locks up a bit heavy and Dave Steer just gets around him on the outside. So Dave Steer goes up into second. Last turn then for the last time. Looks cut and dried for Robbie Wilson Jr. and Colin Hill as they take that checkered flag. From 17, Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. Then 20, Vaughan Roberts and Keith Watts. Then Rich and Colin Blackburn. Justin Peach and Ian Weatherby. And Lee Ray. Never see the best of them because the machinery. And Andy Orchard take the lead in this one from number 4, James Rogers and Damien James, pushing hard in second place. The youngsters from the Eastern Centre in hot pursuit of Dave Steer and Andy Orchard. So Dave Steer and Andy Orchard leading, James Rogers and Damien James in second place. And Philip Smith out, looks like the chain's on. And indeed I can see it dangling by the rear sprocket. Bad luck for them. They've been having better rides just recently since obtaining this new machine. They've started to get things together, and that's bad luck for them. 3 outfits remaining then as they come around the pit start. It's 17, Dave Steer and Andy Orchard from number 4, James Rogers, James 12. Those 3 nice and spread out, make the commentator on that scorer's job a lot easier. Yamaha X-Up Power steer frame in the lead, the ex-rustling Yamaha Genesis in second, and another Yamaha Genesis in the Wasp frame in third. 1 lap to go. James Rogers and Damien James, incredible second for them ahead of Tim Bennett and Steve Hargraves. Round their turn they come, the checkered flag is out. It's Dave Steer and Andy Orchard taking the win. James Rogers and James James, incredible second in good company from Tim Bennett and Steve Hargraves.